For today's video I have 3 finished objects. I don't know why I did that. Three finished objects, one of which I am already wearing, and 2 works in progress, including my first ever sock project. So get comfy and let's dive in. Hi and welcome to episode 12 of the podcast. My name is Luisa, but everybody calls me Lu. And here on the channel I post regular podcast episodes every 2 weeks talking about all my works in progress and my plans and ideas for the near future. So just before we start, I am recovering from a mild cold, so if my voice sounds a little bit funny, that's why. So anyway, let's start with what I am wearing, and that is the Lyra Tee by Irene Lin. Oh, you can see the whole thing. So this is the Lyra Tee by Irene Lin. Let me show you the back. The yarn I used for this project is Sandnes Garn Tynn linen in the colorway, oh I forgot the number, 4372 Deep Burgundy. It's a lovely color. I think I'm too close. So anyway, this is the yarn I used. It is a bamboo, no, it's a cotton viscose linen blend, really lovely, and this is my finished object. So anyway, let me show you up close if I can. And the sleeves, oh, you can see the sleeves, okay. So the sleeves, and it has this really cute cable detail on the body also. So anyway, now since I last shared this project with you, I was where? Here, where my stitch marker is. So I just had to finish the body, and I did, blocked it. So let me remove this stitch marker. So I didn't make any modifications. Let me put my stitch marker over there. So I didn't make any modifications to this pattern here on the body, aside from adding a couple of rows before and after the cables here, to make sure I had the same measurements as the pattern called for. And I also added 1 extra row in between the 2 cable rows that I have here. So maybe if I show you the sleeves, it's better. Yeah, so I added a couple of rows after the last cable row or round, and the same number before the first cable round, and 1 extra row in between the 2 cable crossings. So yeah, this is what I have. Now, the only thing I don't like about this project, it has absolutely nothing to do with the project, and that is the wool wash I used. So I was at the yarn store the other day, like I've already shared it with you guys. I was buying the yarn I needed to knit my socks with. So anyway, I got the yarn, but the store gifted me a little wool wash sample for specific for cotton and linen yarns. So I decided to use with this yarn, and let me tell you, I don't like using this word, but I don't think there's any other word for it. I hate the scent. It is terrible. So before we moved to this house we live now, so we used to live at another place, and we always had around the house those little tabs to control the humidity in the room. So you know the smell of those little tabs. I don't know what they are called, but anyway, the wool wash smells exactly like those tabs. So I absolutely hated the smell of the wool wash, and I'm even considering washing this again, just to use my regular wool wash to smell another thing that's not my humidity tabs. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but anyway, this is it. I am never going to wash my hand knitted garments with that wool wash again, but anyway, this is it. And I think I'm forgetting something, but anyway, the yarn is really light. It's a really lightweight yarn. I think it's fingering weight. So my finished object here, the garment, the fabric, it's really lightweight and thin and soft, and I think it's going to be really lovely to wear over the summer. So talking about the amount of yarn I've used for this project. So the pattern calls for 1,584 meters. I've used 1,060 meters, and I think I shortened the sleeves a little bit, but now I don't remember if I added a couple of centimeters to the body or not. But anyway, that's what I've used. That equals to 241 grams of the Sandnes Garn Tynn linen. So I don't know what happened. When I bought the yarn for this project, I was looking at size 8 or size 9. I always buy yarn one size larger than what I actually tend to need, just to have a little buffer to make sure I don't end up running out of yarn. So anyway, I bought, I think, 1,800 meters of this yarn. It felt like it was too much for a tee, for a fingering weight tee, but I decided to follow the pattern, and in the end I decided to switch to size 7. So according to the pattern, I would use 1,500, 1,600 meters. I ended up using just a little bit over 1,000. So now I have 4 balls left over of this yarn, and I don't mind that at all because I loved the yarn. So I already have some ideas of what I want to knit with my leftovers, but that's going to be for next summer. Right now I have other plans and ideas, and I already have the yarn for those ideas. So anyway, this is going to be for another project, but yeah, just to let you know that I've used way less yarn than what the pattern calls for. Maybe I read something wrong when I was checking the amount of yarn the pattern recommended. I don't know, maybe I did something wrong. There's always the possibility. But anyway, now in terms of cost, I've paid 22 euros and 94 cents for the amount of yarn I've used for the project. That doesn't take into consideration my leftovers. The cost of the leftovers will go towards another project. And the pattern cost me 8 euros and 3 cents. So in total, this tee cost me 30 euros and 97 cents. And it's pretty good, right? I think it looks really, I don't know, I think this tee has a more elevated look. I don't think it looks like a everyday tee. It looks like something to go out in the evening or something like that. Maybe that's because of the twisted stitches detail, or maybe the cables, or maybe the color I chose. I don't know. But anyway, this is my finished object, and I absolutely love it. Until now, at least, my collar is not flaring out. This is a stockinette stitch folded over collar, and I've already talked about the collar, the process of knitting the collar a few episodes back. I think it was episode 10 of the podcast. It will be linked down below anyway. So until now, at least, it is not flaring out, but we'll see if over time things change, but I'll let you know if that happens. So the second finished object of today's video is my Pierre Sweater by Johanna Gehrisch. So I finished, it's done, it's blocked, it's ready to be worn, but it's going into my closet because it's just too hot to wear a wool and mohair sweater right now. But I mean, it is lace, so maybe I can get away with wearing 1 or 2 days over the summer. Anyway, so the yarn I used for this project is Holst Garn Supersoft in the colorway Sage Blue, which is this lovely yarn over here. This is a green with blue undertones and some white also. I don't think the camera really captures the blue undertone, but anyway, this is colorway Sage Blue, and I paired it with a mohair that now I can find. Anyway, let's go with this one. So the yarn I used is mohair. I used is Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Dusty Sea Green, and this is the combo that I decided to go with. And I'm really glad I used this cone. I still have a ton of yarn left over, but that was expected. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me put the mohair back on the wall, and now I'm almost knocking my pink yarn. So anyway, so going back to the sweater, to the finished object, I just had my both sleeves left to work on, and that's exactly what I did. I will try this on in a little bit to see the fit and everything, but regarding my sleeves, I knitted size medium on the body. I decided to go up a size when I was picking up stitches to knit the sleeves. Let me show you up close the sleeves. So I knitted size large for the sleeves. I'm really glad I did that. I think I have just enough room for my arms, and I'm really happy with the fit. She mentions in the pattern, the designer mentions in the pattern, to pay attention to the size of the sleeves if you want more roomier sleeves, to go up a size and everything. So that's what I did. And size large, that I had the same issue that I had when I was working on the body, and which is the lace pattern here. It doesn't match like the beginning and the end of the round. The first and last cable column of lace stitches, it doesn't work out. So I have two columns right next to each other that are exactly the same. And that's what I was trying to show you guys last episode on the body. So I had the same issue on the sleeves. So I decided to do the same thing that she recommended on the body. And that is, I added, she doesn't tell you to do this. This is a modification that I made just to make sure it was looking just like the body, the sleeves. So I picked up 2 extra stitches right under the arm, like the first and last stitch of a row, of a round, and I purled those 2 stitches across the entire sleeve just to add a little something between the 2 columns of lace pattern that are looking exactly the same. This is what she recommends doing on the body, so I decided to do the same thing on the sleeves instead of it's right here. I don't know if it's really easy to see, but anyway, this is what I have. So I sized up, I went up a size in the pattern, added 2 purl stitches right in the middle of my, like under the arm, and I also added one entire lace pattern, one entire lace chart. It's this here to both my sleeves to get the length that I wanted. And I finished it off with a Italian bind off with a little modification for twisted rib that I always do this, and I always talk about this here in the podcast. So that's what I did. Oh, and when I was doing the Italian bind off, I usually don't bind off holding my 2 strands together. I usually just bind off when I am doing Italian bind off. I usually just bind off using my main yarn, so the Holst Garn Supersoft in this case, and I just weave in the end for my mohair, the mohair. I just weave it in, and yeah, that's what I do. You can't really tell that I didn't use the mohair to bind off because of the fuzziness of the last row before the bind off and the entire cuff. You can't really see that I didn't use my mohair to bind off. So it makes things easier. The yarn management is easier. Everything is easier if I just have 1 strand instead of 2. And when I am binding off, doing an Italian bind off, because you have 4 steps that you keep on repeating over and over and over. So anyway, it makes things easier. So that's what I did. Now let me try this on and we can see what it looks like. Now I want to do that magic that I did this with my fingers and I magically change clothes. So let's see if it will work. Let me try this like this. So let's try this on. Did it work? I have no idea. Oh, I hope it did. Anyway, so let me show you like this. So I don't have my extra lengthy sleeves that I usually like, but if I were to add like half a chart, I think it would be too long to, well, it would be too much. So this is what I have, and I think the fit is pretty good. If I raise my arms and all of that, I don't think it's too short. I don't have bracelet length sleeves or anything like that, so I'm happy with the length. And also on the body, I think it's quite good, and the back. So yeah, that's what I have. Did I show you the color? I am pretty happy with the size and the amount of, well, room I have around my neck. So yeah, this is my Pierre sweater and I'm really happy with it, but it's so hot when I'm wearing this sweater, so let's do this pretty quick. So yarn amounts. In terms of my main yarn, so the pattern calls for 1,500 meters. I've used 1,326 meters. So yeah, a little bit under the amount of yarn the pattern calls for. That equals to 231 meters. And I'm pretty happy with it. I added length to the body and the sleeves, and I also went up a size when knitting the sleeves. So even doing all of that, I still managed to use up less yarn than what the pattern calls for. So anyway, I've used, according to my math, I've used a little bit less of the mohair yarn, but I think it's just my scale that isn't really, well, trustworthy. Anyway, I went up a size and all of that, so yeah, I've used 1,326 meters of, well, yarn. And in terms of cost, I didn't pay anything for this cone of Holst Garn Supersoft. Like I've already said in another podcast, this is this is from my mom's this stash. She gifted me this yarn, so I didn't pay anything for it. But I've paid for the mohair, and for the mohair only, I've paid 44 euros and 33 cents. And I also paid for the pattern, and that cost me 6 euros and 99 cents. So in total, this project cost me 51 euros and 34 cents. And yeah, this is it. There's not really much to say about it, but it is really pretty and I can't wait to wear this. But right now, I don't know, it's been raining for the last, what it feels like an entire month, non-stop every day, so it's getting a little chilly sometimes, especially in the evening. So maybe I can get away with wearing it 1 or 2 nights when I go out, maybe. So anyway, this is my Pierre sweater. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, this is a drop shoulder, really nicely. Really nice, the fit and everything. And I keep stretching my arms like that. I don't know why, but I always do this. I already noticed it when I am editing the videos. I always do this with my arm. I feel like I want my arms. I feel like I want to fly. Anyway, this is my Pierre sweater now. Let me take this off. So I have no idea if my little trick is working or not when I change clothes, or if I'm just looking like a crazy person who does this ever so often. So anyway, my Pierre sweater is going to live here for the moment. Now, the third and last finished object of today's video is my December bow by PetiteKnit, and they look so cute. So, it's going to be hard to show you all 3 of them at the same time, but I hope you can see. So anyway, this is the December bow by PetiteKnit, and I've used cotton yarn that I had left in stash. I had a few different colorways. This is 100% cotton yarn. Did I say it's cotton or wool? This is cotton. So I had this laying around my stash. This is 100% cotton yarn, worsted weight, and I decided to use that to knit 3 of these. And let me show you up close. Oh, they look so cute. I added stripes and everything. Let me show you the orange one. I think the orange one is my favorite, or maybe the blue one. So I had already knitted the entire bow. I just had to assemble them and make them look like a bow. So that's what I did. This is not a double knitted band here, the light blue thing. It is not double knitted. This is just a little stocknet strip that I folded over. I folded in half, like vertically, and I'd use that to attach and make them look like a bow, and they look so fun. So now I just have to put them on the wall. They're going to live right over there to fill up this blank space that I have in my craft room, and they are going to look so cute one day. I think they will. So, oh, I almost got them on fire. They almost fell right on top of my candle. Oh, anyway, that was look, I got lucky now. So anyway, these are my 3 December bows. So the yarn I used, like I said, is leftover cotton that I had in my stash. So I love the size, the shape, and the colors, and I'm just going to show you like this because I am holding my notebook with my second hand. So anyway, in terms of the amount of yarn I used, my main color, let me just show you one. Let's go with the pink one. So yarn amounts. I've used 32 grams of my main color, the dark pink one. That equals to 55 meters, and 17 grams of my CC colorway, the light pink, almost purpley yarn, and that equals to 29 meters. So 55 plus 29, that equals to 84 meters. So in total, I've used 84 meters. The pattern calls for 101, I think, meters. So it's pretty much the same. I knitted mine at a worsted weight gauge. I think the pattern is DK weight gauge. So anyway, now in terms of cost, I didn't pay anything for the yarn. That's what I am going with because this yarn has been in my stash for what feels like forever. I think it's over 2 years now that I've had this yarn in my stash. So I'm not considering anything in terms of cost, just for the yarn. And the pattern cost me €4.89. So if I were to buy this yarn at the store today, I would pay €2.79 for a bow, and a bow is 85 meters. So that's exactly what I used. So I guess I would need one bow to knit one bow. So if I were to buy the yarn for this project would cost me €7.68. 3 bows, that equals to €13.26, but I just paid for the pattern, like I said. And they look pretty good, don't they? Oh, I think they do. They look so cute. So let me show you the wrong side because the assembly is not what I expected. But I should have just assembled 2 of my bows and left one to show you guys how she suggests you to do. But I forgot to do that, so let me just show you the wrong side. The wrong side looks a little bit messy, but I think that's my fault. But I don't really mind it because it's going to stay on the wall. I am never going to see the wrong side. But anyway, this is it, and this is the right side. There's really not much to say about a knitted bow, but starting next episode, you're going to see them up on the wall, hopefully, if I can manage to hang them properly. But anyway, let me get another sip of iced tea. I think my voice is really starting to sound funny now that I'm talking nonstop. But anyway, the first project, the first work in progress that I like to share with you today is I don't know if I want to start with my tea project or the sock. Let's go with the sock. So I wanted to knit my first ever pair of socks. Well, it isn't actually my first ever sock project. And now that I realized that I forgot to say something, to share something about my Lyra Tee. So let's go back to the Lyra Tee really quick. So when I was working on my Lyra Tee, I had to frog, 10, 15 centimeters around here to change sizes, to change from a size 8 to a size 7, and all of that was a whole thing. So I had to frog more than one entire bowl. I think I had to frog 1.5 bowls worth of fabric, worth of work. So I didn't know what to do with my noodle of the yarn. So I decided to wrap it around a glass that I had. This is just a glass that I used to drink water and stuff. So I decided to turn it upside down, and I wrapped my yarn around the cup, around the glass. It's really silly, but it worked out so great. It was perfect. It didn't slide or I didn't lose my yarn. It didn't get tangled or anything. So it worked out so great that I wanted to share with you. I think I took a photo of my glass, yes, when it was full of yarn. So I will pop it in here if I can manage to find it. But that's what I did. I just wrapped it around the glass, and it worked out so great. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you with this little bit of a tip with you. And I want to remember this for the next time that I have to frog a bigger section of any project. I want to use this glass. Anyway, this is going to stay here. I should have shared that with you last episode, but I just forgot. I left my glass right over there to help me remember, and I forgot anyway. I almost forgot today again. But anyway, let's go back to the sock project. So I decided to cast on, it was called the Colorwork Cuff Club, but now I think it's called Color Cuff Club Volume 1. I don't remember it right now. Oh, I have it in my notes. Let me check. Cuff Club Volume 1. Yes, I decided to cast on the Color Cuff Club 1. Cuff Club Volume 1. And I went for the January chart. So you get 12 charts, 1 chart for each month of the year. And I decided to cast on the January chart. And it's right here. It looks so cute. It's really simple and easy. But this is what I am considering my first ever sock project. Because, well, I have knitted a sock before. And it's this one here. But I don't really consider it my first ever sock, because I don't wear it. It's too big. I think you can already tell it's too big. I don't have a sock blocker, so I'm just going to show you like this. I am planning on getting my hands on a sock blocker, but I want to see if I really get into knitting socks over time and to justify having a sock blocker. So anyway, for now I'm just going to show you like this, and it's really big. It isn't really that big, but when I wear my socks it stretches quite a bit. And these socks have no negative ease, because I didn't know what I was doing when I knitted this pair of socks. I didn't know socks were supposed to have negative ease, but apparently they do. So this is 0 ease, I think. So they stretch quite a lot when I am wearing it, and it falls off my feet. So yeah, they are not really wearable, so I don't consider them my first ever sock project. So anyway, the sock I'm currently working on is this one. This is let's go with my first sock project that I am really trying to get things right, to get the fit right and everything. So it's my first time knitting a what, heel flap and gusset, and also doing some color work. That's what I decided to go with this chart, the January chart. It's really easy, just a couple of rows here to make things simple and improve my chances of getting things right. But I forgot to share the yarn. So the yarn I'm using for this project is what? No, it's not Filco Lana. It's Lana Grossa Vintage Socks in the colorway 1012, which is this orange one that I really love. I love the different shades of orange that you get throughout the yarn. And the pink one is also Lana Grossa Vintage Socks in the colorway 1009. It's really lovely. And the third colorway, the green one, that is Filco Lana Veta. Oh, I have to hold my pink bow because it's still attached to the sock. So the green one is Filco Lana Veta in the colorway, in the colorway 379 Sprout. The colorway name is Sprout. I really love this color. I really love the contrast that I have. It's not really in your face, but at the same time you can clearly see the different colors. And that's what I really like about it. My plan for my second sock is going to be, I think I'm going to switch the pink and the orange. So I'm going to need a orange foot and a pink leg. That's my idea so far. Let me show you up close. So maybe you can tell me if I am doing things right or not. I probably am doing something wrong. There's a high probability of that. But anyway, I did a long tail cast on in the 2x1 rib for 15 rows, and then a few rows here in stockinette before I started my color work. Now, I have almost zero experience with color work. I have just, knitted one color work sweater until now, yeah? And this is my second ever color work project. So my second time doing color work. And at first I decided to cast on how many stitches I needed for my feet, but I couldn't get it past my ankle, so I went up a size. I went up a needle size, couldn't get past my ankle, went up a size in the pattern, didn't work also neither. So I decided to size up my needles only for the color work. So I am using 2.5 millimeters for the entire sock, but just the color work rows here I've used a 3 millimeter to get a little bit more yarn. I'm talking about the floats, to get a little bit more yarn on my floats here and maybe help get it past my ankle, and it worked. So doing that, I had a few stitches more than what I really wanted in my leg, so I added a few extra decreases here, a few gusset decreases, to end up with the size that I really wanted in the foot. And this is what I have. I don't know if it's supposed to be this way or not. I think it looks a little bit bigger than what it's supposed to be, but I am measuring things. I am measuring my feet, I am measuring the sock, and I think I have 3 or 4 centimeters of negative ease. Is that enough? Is it too much? I have no idea, but I'm just going with it, and I am planning on finishing both socks and wear it a few times and then, reevaluate my sock recipe and change things up and all of that. Now the color work, I think it looks pretty good. Is it too open, like my green stitches? Are they too open? I don't know. And my gusset here, the heel flapping gusset, I don't really like the look of a heel flapping gusset. I think I prefer the look of a short row heel, just like I did with this sock here. I think I prefer the look of this heel. This is I think it's a shadow wrap heel. I think that's the right name. This is a shadow wrap heel. And I think I prefer the look of a short row heel, but from what I've watched and read about it, heel flap and gusset gives a better fit. So I'm going with it, and we'll see if I have the right fit or not. I think it looks good, but I don't know. At the same time, the entire sock looks a little bit bigger than what I see from other people's projects. So I don't know if I am doing something wrong. There's always the possibility that I am doing something wrong, or if I have just anatomically odd feet. I have no idea, but anyway, I can already see some room for improvement, definitely. Now, when you look at the edge of my heel flap here, on this side, the edge, like the last stitch of the heel flap and my gusset decreases, I think they look pretty good, if I do say so myself. So I think they look pretty good, but on the other side of my foot, they look a bit wonky. The last stitch of the heel flap and also my gusset decreases. They don't look as neat as they do on the other side. So yeah, I have to tweak some things. I don't know about my stitch counts and everything, but I think I need to wear this a couple of times to say anything about the fit, if I have the right stitch counts or not, if I need to tweak things here and there. I probably have to do some tweaking, but anyway, this is what I have so far. I just have to knit a couple of centimeters more on the foot before I start my toe decreases, and yeah, this is my sock. They look so good. I am really happy with them. I don't really mind if they don't end up fitting like 100% perfect or not. I am just happy that I have my second or first sock project ever, and I'm really happy with them. So, and I am using this sock ruler that I've had for 2 years now. I got this as there was a little event at the yarn shop, a yarn shop that I went to, 3 years ago, and I was gifted this sock ruler that I never used because I don't usually need socks. But now I got the chance to use it for the first time, and it's just to measure how much I have to left work on the foot of my sock before I have to start my toe decreases. So anyway, I am using this. I think this is bamboo wood. I don't know. I'm using this. And now let's talk about my second work in progress, and that is my tea project, which is the Lusk Tea, or I think that the right name is just Lusk, by Rebecca Clow, or the Creabea. And here it is. Oh, it looks so cute. Anyway, the yarn I'm using is Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. Let me say it again. I am using Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Plum Rose. It is this really pretty blush shade. This is my favorite shade for a lipstick, so I'm just calling this my lipstick color. So this is colorway Plum Rose, Knitting for Olive Soft Silk. Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. If I say soft silk mohair, I mean pure silk, alright? So at first I wanted to combine the Lusk Tea by Rebecca Clow with another tea pattern from Sarah Nordland. It will be on the screen now. I don't remember the name of that pattern, but I wanted to use the texture of that pattern, of the Sarah Nordland's pattern, and apply that to the stitch counts and everything to the pattern of the Lusk Tea. And I knitted a swatch. That's what I have here. It is still attached to my yarn ball because I usually unravel my swatches to use the yarn, but I wanted to show you guys the swatch, so I still have it attached to a new yarn ball. So anyway, I didn't purchase the Sarah Nordland's pattern, so I decided I just did something that I think it would look like the texture she used. So it's the first one here, and then I did a couple of modifications because you can't really see the stitch pattern, can you? I don't think it's really pronounced. Yeah, this is what I did here. I did 2 purl rows and 1x1 rib, 2 rows of 1x1 rib in between my 2 rows, my 2 purl rows, a little 2 rows of knit stitches of just knitting across, and then I did that for what, three repeats of that pattern. You couldn't really see the texture, so I decided to add 1 knit row before and after my 2 rows of 1x1 rib. It didn't really help, so I decided to just purl across my row, and yeah, that's what I have here. I didn't really like any of my 3 tries, so I decided to go with something different, and now I am doing this. Oh, I forgot to get my yarn, so I'm doing this. Let me show you up close. It's like a mix of the texture the pattern suggests, of a modification the pattern suggests, and what I tried with my little swatch here. So this is what I have. This is a drop shoulder construction. You first cast on stitches for the back, knit a trapezoid shape, knit straight down a couple of centimeters, a few centimeters, and then you do some increases here to shape the armhole. It's quite fun. It's my first time knitting any of her patterns, and I'm really liking it so far. And then you pick up stitches, knit both fronts, the left and right fronts, join them, cast on stitches for the neck, and all of that. I am doing the D-cup bust shaping option just to try. It's my first time knitting any sort of bust shaping. I don't know if I do knit bust shaping or not, but if I end up having too much fabric around my bust, then I can just frog a little bit and don't do the increases. But anyway, this is what I have so far. It is now hanging on some try-on tubing because I plan on blocking this right after I finish recording this podcast, because I think the yoke is too deep. My armhole depth here, I think I did too much. So I followed the pattern, and the pattern calls for a 22 centimeter armhole depth, but my sweet spot, I would say, is around 20 centimeters, and I completely forgot to shorten my yoke a little bit. So I plan on blocking this to see if it will grow and all of that, because from what I've read, my tongue is not working with me today. But anyway, so from what I've read on Ravelry, people say this yarn grows quite a lot with blocking. So I plan on blocking this and check my gauge and everything to see how much do I need to shorten my yoke. So I think I'm going to frog, 10 centimeters or so, to start my increases for the armhole, to shape the armholes sooner, and then shorten my armhole depth overall. But this is what I have so far. I really like the pattern. And did I show you the texture that I am going for? So I am knitting across for 3 rows. So knit 3 rows per 1, knit 3 rows per 1, and then I knit 1 row, and knit it together, yarn over, across, knit 1 row per 1. So that's what I'm doing. So knit 3 per 1, knit 3 per 1, knit 1, knit it together, yarn over, knit 1 per 1. Yeah. Oh, that sounds confusing. Anyway, it's going to be on my Ravelry page, on my project page, so go check it out in case you want to see more details about the stitch pattern that I decided to go for. So anyway, this is what I have. I really love the texture. I really love the yarn. It's not really soft. It's my first time knitting with silk, so it's not really soft, but I think it's good enough. I think it's going to be a really lightweight project, really lightweight garment to wear over summer. So yeah, this is what I have so far. Now I need to block, possibly frog a few centimeters, and then reknit to make some progress. But anyway, this is what I have. And oh, I really wanted to share that. So a few episodes back, I've knitted my Leon sweater by PetiteKnit, and I've used 2 different colorways of Knitting for Olive Merino, and the pink colorway that I've used is Wild Berries, which is this one. And I wanted to compare that with the color, the shade of pink of this Plum Rose, which is the yarn I'm using for the Lusk tee. So Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Plum Rose, and Knitting for Olive Merino in the colorway Wild Berries. And look how cute they are. So when I was working on my Lusk tee, I kept reminding of this Wild Berries colorway. They look really similar in my mind, but now that I am putting them next to each other, yeah, the Plum Rose one looks more like brownie or mauve. It's mauve color? Anyway, mauve? I don't know. So this one and the Wild Berries one looks much more pink, but yeah, I like the 2 of them, and that's all. So I think that's all I have for you today. I have my plans on another sweater project that I want to cast on, but I think this video is already pretty long, so let's leave that for the next episode. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, ring the bell, all those things YouTube likes. I really appreciate. And if you want to, like I said, subscribe for more cozy knitting updates, I would love to have you stick around. So don't forget to comment down below and share all your thoughts on my projects and what you've been working on. I would love to know. And if you have any thoughts on my sock project, if you have any thoughts and ideas of what I can do to improve my sock here, I would love your feedback. So please comment down below also, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!